Then I had to be very strict because in sales, you didn't want to give like this older generation any reason to say no to you. And tattoos were one of those things. Like I remember this elderly woman who came up and was all like, it's so disrespectful, this young kid having tattoos, blah blah blah, this and that, talking about my coworker. And she's been a client of mine for like 3 years. And I was like, what if I told you, like, how would you feel if I had tattoos? And she's like, oh, but you're such a nice boy, you would never have tattoos. And I'm like, I have more tattoos than everybody else in this store combined. Like, but that's the kind of like connotation and the association that they had with people with tattoos. They're delinquents, they're this, they're that. So it's like that kind of stuff was never really allowed. So when I got out of sales and into casting, I personally had a really hard time of getting out of my own head. I had a really hard time of realizing that I got hired for my skill set and my personality, and it was okay to let loose, have fun, be goofy, let people actually see who I was. Because I had a really tough time. I got bullied heavily growing up. Like I had a bunch of issues growing up, like with personal identity and all that kind of stuff. Like being honest with you all, I was basically a pathological liar when I was a kid. It was never like I would make shit up. It was more of like I took a story and then added some like spice to it to make it a little bit better, because I was afraid, because I was bullied heavily and never fit in like middle school, high school, people wouldn't like me for who I was. And luckily I have some friends now that like straight up like said it to my face and they're like, dude, we like you for who you are. Yeah, embellished. So I met the friend group that I have now, and they're like, hey man, we like you for you. You don't need to be anybody else but yourself, kind of thing. That on top of then working in the industry, like not being authentic or genuine is very easily picked up on. So I finally met Leaf. Leaf and I started casting together, found a guy that me and him were just homies and like all that kind of stuff. What was the Psionics interview like? We never fucking had one. I got a call from Golden Boy and he's like, you're in. And I'm like, wait, what? That was my interview. I got a phone call from Golden Boy. Then he ignored me for 2 days after he told me he needed to call me. And then he finally called me back. That experience was fucking traumatizing, by the way. So yeah. Trying to get out of suit and tie corporate and not worry so much and prep so much and plan so much and do all that stuff. Like I was in my head so much early as a caster, and you can literally see it. Like if you go back and watch seasons 1, 2, and part of 3, it wasn't until season 4 that I was just like, all right, I'm finally starting to figure out what it is I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to break out of this mold. Like it's okay to let loose and have some fun.